you are we at the end, or is this the end of the female empowerment era?
No,
The with the wake of you don't think
oh,
so? With the
you talking
wake of
about
how
you talking about with Madam Web?
yeah, that hey, I think so, bro. I think so, or at least the beginning of it.
Oh man, bro,
Did you
y'all
hear
niggas
there was a
don't.
whole theater that asked for refunds?
Nah, I didn't hear about that. I
They was
mean,
like, man,
hey,
fuck this shit. I
well,
want
well,
my
guess
money back.
what? Guess what? Y'all ain't getting shit back.
Sony said we already spent the money.
Yeah,
Shit.
y'all ain't getting shit back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. Look, on the opposite end of Madam Web is Craven the Hunter. That's on the opposite end of that. So if y'all really hated Madam Web that much, support Craven the Hunter. Do that. Do
That's not gonna work for me, brother. That's not gonna work for me.
if y'all really that mad about Madam Web, support Craven the Hunter. I mean, the tomato scores are both going to be what, sub 25% on both of those movies. So, you know, when Craven the Hunter comes out, make sure that y'all get your tickets and you go enjoy and you go enjoy that alpha male theatrical experience. Make sure you do that. Keep the same energy when y'all go see Craven the Hunter, bro. A whole theater wanted a refund. Like, y'all niggas must think this is Walmart or something, bro. You ain't get no fucking refund, man. Take that shit up the block, bro. Like that's some Gen Z shit right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm sounding like a man. Now we gonna sound like some old man here. That's some Gen Z shit right there.
Refunds. Man, you don't get your ass out of my face with your refunds, shoot.
I saw this movie. I paid my money. I sat through the movie, and now I want my money back. Fuck out of here, dog. No, hell no. Y'all should have knew better than that. I mean, on that note, let me ask you this, D. Smith. What's the worst movie that you've ever spent money to see in the theater? The worst movie that you've ever sat down and watched in the theater before, bro.
Damn. Always when I'm in the hot seat. Only because I can remember it. Transformers, the one with Mark Wahlberg, the first one.
Age of Extinction.
That's the first time I almost walked out of a film.
Yo.
No. That movie I told you about with Joe Coy, that was the worst one.
Oh, Easter Sunday. That's the worst movie you've ever seen.
That shit was like, I should have asked for my fucking money back.
Fuck, if it was that easy, right?
Fuck. God awful.
But you didn't even. So hold on. When you say like there was nothing you enjoyed about that either, right? You didn't walk away from.
There was 2 to 3 jokes, bro. That's it. And it looks like it was on a shoestring budget, and it was written in the 90s.
Right. How the hell?
80% of that was stuff from the 90s that he. What are those old like flip books you used to have where you would fill out the template with nouns, adjectives, and stuff like that? It was like one of those, bro. He just wrote his name and a few little subjects and just nailed it in, and expected like to make money off that shit. It was terrible.
So you know that a movie is bad when it's called Easter Sunday and doesn't actually get released on Easter Sunday. You know, that's how you know that. Oh shit. That's how you know that a movie is no good, bro. When the whole premise is based around a particular season of the year and it gets released and it's not even close to that season of the year, bro. I'm gonna say the worst movie that I've probably ever sat in the theater to watch. Let me think on this, bro. I'm gonna say in 2015, I went to see the remake to Poltergeist in 2015, and that shit was horrible.
Man, bro,
Yeah,
you should have known better.
that shit was bad. But like,
you should have known better.
well, and I mean, that was probably, I think that was one of the first movies that I went to the theater to see after I finished boot camp. So it was like, I get to go to the movies. This is what's out. I go to see Poltergeist.
Okay.
Other than that, the second worst movie I probably ever seen was Battleship. And I got a whole backstory behind that. But yeah, that was probably the second worst movie I've ever seen. Tied for close first one, because like that was clearly inspired by Transformers.
Almost definitely.
Horrible. That shit was bad. That shit was bad.
Did Hasbro work on that shit too? Wow. They was trying to get that money hard.
Yeah, that shit was bad.
They was really trying to get that money hard.
And I'll tell you the worst part about that, D. Smith, if I'm not mistaken, that came out. Cause okay, see, this is my fucked up movie memory here. If I'm not mistaken, I think the first Avengers movie came out May 12th of 2012.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it came out May 12th, 2012. Battleship came out the following week. And instead of getting to go see the Avengers, because my wife is such a huge Rihanna fan, I had to sit through 2 hours. Had to sit through 2 hours of Battleship, bro. Had to sit through that. And like, you know what I'm saying? There's things that you got to do in a relationship sometimes, bro. But that's one of those everlasting memories that's just gonna stick with me. And it's like, I remember my wife was like, the whole time, you look like you just didn't want to be here. Like, damn, is that obvious? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I didn't even try to play that shit off. That shit was bad. But yeah, bro. And even with that being said, there was no refund. There was no refund for that. You look like a fucking nut. You walk back to the ticket counter and say, this movie is so bad, I want to refund. Right? But to answer your question, bro, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that to answer that question, no. No. Not when... Okay, so all right, so when you ask that question, are you saying specifically to the superhero genre, or are you saying in all of entertainment?
Almost all of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I would say almost all the entertainment, or at least the big push for it is over.
I'm inclined to say no, because I mean the highest grossing movie that came out last year was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that was my thing. I think that they might be a pivot to where they realize that more things that they're into and less things that we're into. You get what I mean?
I mean, sure. I don't disagree. And I mean, you really think about it. Like, if Charles was on here, I mean, I know Charles is a huge fan of Fury Road. I know in talking to him, and that was a great movie. Fury Road is on a lot of people's list for like top movies of that last decade, right? Mm-hmm. And even though in hindsight it's looked at in a certain light, but when that movie came out, nobody viewed it through the lens of it being a feminist, power.
Yeah, but that was before we had a lot of them. And I'll say this: we'll get less bad interpretations of male-centric, female-centric type stuff.
Well, and I see.
I could see. Oh, go.
My bad. No, you got it. No, my bad.
Like, I could see there still being a push, but it'll just be less. And again, more stuff they work, like stuff like Barbie. Barbie works because Barbie is a girl brand. It isn't borrowing from any guy's stuff like Ghostbusters or anything like that.
I mean, I think okay, but this is what I'm gonna say. I'm not in disagreement with you, but there are examples. Okay, like nobody would have looked at Sarah Connor, the character of Sarah Connor in Terminator, as being woke. Nobody, and like for one, all right, we're gonna get to that tonight too. Bro. But nobody would have looked at Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Nobody would have, like, at the time those movies came out, nobody looked at it through the lens of, oh, they're pushing X. Like, nobody would have looked at it.
But they were good too, man, bro. They were good. That was the key element, that they were good.
Well,
good. And we got, okay, go.
Look, and I'm not in disagreement with you, but now I think the issue is that even if the product is good, it doesn't matter now. There's gonna be, for people who are objective, like yourself, me, and you know, some of our good brothers in the Discord, objectively, there's already a push on a certain side of the internet that's going to discount something being good because there's a woman as a protagonist now.
Okay,
like,
I see what you mean.
We're at a point now in this bullshit culture war where the level of quality behind something is secondary to the way that you feel about it. You know, that's my take. How you feel about that?
Well said. I'll leave it at that.
Well, because I mean, prime, like it, you know what I mean. Prime example, when and I'm not gonna pretend that mainstream media doesn't feed into some of that, because they do. Of
course.
But it hurts people. It causes people physical pain to be objective in terms of judging something on quality, whether it's good or bad. It causes people physical pain. Like, this is not fucking. Like, you know what I mean? Oh man, like, for real, bro. Like, this, it's not life or death. Like, I'll tell you the truth. My wife went to see the Barbie movie with her mom, and she enjoyed it, right? Mm-hmm. When me and her were sick back in January, we watched a bunch of stuff on TV, stuck on the couch. She says, let's watch the Barbie movie. I kicked and I screamed and I bitched and I moaned, but we watched. Right?
How did you feel about it?
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It wasn't my cup of tea. It isn't the first movie that I would want to watch on the watch list. But I mean, I didn't. You know what I mean? It didn't cause me any pain. I didn't feel pain watching this movie. It didn't put me in the fucking toxic shock by watching this movie. Do I think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread? No. Have I seen movies worse than that? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I'm going to judge it based off of what it's looking to accomplish, meaning that it's a movie based around a series of toys with no storyline, it accomplished the mission. Mm-hmm. Was there stuff that I laughed about? Absolutely. Was there stuff that didn't make sense to me? Absolutely. But, like, bro, my dick and balls still exist after watching the Barbie movie. I hate to be that graphic about it, but we're gonna keep it a buck here, right?
Right.
Am I ever gonna watch that movie again? Probably not. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm alright with it. In terms of quality, if I'm looking at it based off of the type of film that it was, it's probably in that same vein as movies like the Lego movie. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But no, but back to the original point here. I think something can be good as long as the product is good, like those other things we alluded to. I don't have any problem with it. Prey in 2022 was one of my favorite movies that whole year. I wasn't bothered by the fact that it was a female protagonist chasing down the predator. Like, I didn't give a fuck about that. I didn't give a fuck about that. I mean, if Furiosa comes out in May, which is an action movie, which is a prequel to allegedly one of the greatest action movies ever made, if that movie comes out and it's good, nobody's gonna give a fuck. The same marksman out here that wanted
gonna be championing it.
Right. But motherfucker, if you knew that the movie was gonna be bad, why did you pay money to go hate watch it to give Sony a return on the fucking investment? Why would you do that? All right, man. But we getting sidetracked. I think you're right. Ultimately, D. Smith, you're right. As long as the quality of the product is good, it really doesn't matter. It, like the rest of that stuff doesn't really matter.
Let me follow up with this. Do you think studios will take less of a risk though now?
No.
Okay.
No. No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that the entertainment industry, the wheels on that bus or on that train are already full steam ahead.
Okay.
Everything's not gonna be great. Some of the stuff might be really bad, but if you make $1 billion off of an IP, every studio is gonna be racing to try to get a hold of that until they realize that they can't, and then the next thing comes along and makes $1 billion.